So our next speaker is Cecilia Piaggio, and her topic is our learnings when rolling out tech initiatives in QOM.
Buen día. I will be talking today about the lessons learned while rolling out tech initiatives in QOM, that is South American language. So I worked all my life in the translation and localization industry, supporting top players to get their content available internationally. And I love this job because it gives me the opportunity to work with people around the world. And my husband has also worked in this industry, so when we wanted to do something with a social impact, it became very natural to us to go and help an indigenous community in our region. So what we had to do was something super simple, was to take what we do in our daily jobs and create a roadmap. And that roadmap was to select a language, of course, then to create an online glossary, then to create a translation memory and a corpus of data. And we wanted also to translate Facebook because this is an application that the community uses on a daily basis. The end goal was, of course, to create a neural machine translation that would eventually translate automatically. This is really something that is our business as usual, so it was absolutely not innovative. So here's my big lesson. You cannot roll out technological initiatives in the community. You need to go to the community and listen to them, because I wanted to roll out an initiative on a language. And actually, you need to work with people and listen to them and what they need. So we had to recalculate a bit, and I'm super grateful with the QOM community because they trusted us with this, and we created a marvelous team, a dream team of indigenous people that help us doing that. So this is how the roadmap looks like now. We managed to create, we have different levels of progress. But the first column that you see here, it's what the community validated as something that they wanted. So we created an online talking dictionary, and this is what the community really needed. The rest, and also the Facebook, I want to make a very special point here, because this had a huge impact. It was a sense of pride. We used an application that is available for all communities that is called Facebook Translate app. So we just enrolled in what they had available. Creating the bilingual corpus and the machine translation engine was not something that they were interested. They didn't see the need to do it, but they were okay with that because I was going to help them also gather the data that they were looking for. But look at the other column. This is what they needed. They wanted to have the content in QOM that was all over the place. So we engaged in collaboration with an archive from the University of Texas, and we are starting now with the institute in Berlin. And this was massive. Going back to what Lorna was saying, these are the bits and pieces of their history that they are reassembling, and they are rewriting history according to these little bits of evidence that are scattered all over the world. So the problem is that they're not easy to access. So we created a very simple website so they could click on it and easily get access to content that is already of public access. Something also very important is that in Argentina, you have the languages to become official are done at a provincial level. So in the north of the country, in Chaco, QOM is an official language, but in the south, it's not. So now we're helping them to get QOM declared as an official language. So in cooperation with the community from the north, we submitted a bill, so hopefully it will get approved soon. Also, there was a huge need for developing content to support schools. There's no content. Something really positive is some schools that that have indigenous students have been declared indigenous bilingual schools, and they need to teach concepts in their mother tongue. The problem is, teachers are not necessarily indigenous teachers, so they don't know the language, and there's no, schools are not working together, and there's no plan and no funding. So there's the transition from this declaration to the actual possibility to teach in the native language, it's really, really big. And this is what I want to mention. The QOM community had a sense of loss and a deep need of restitution of their content. There is a feeling of being treated as objects of study, and they experience it as a digital and academic colonization. And we all, not only people in this room, but everybody, all the citizens, we all have an ethical responsibility here. So what's our vision? We believe that academic work should be shared with the community. Oftentimes, research and students go and they study, and after they finish, they just go and they don't even leave a copy of their work. And in our experience, we've been contacting researchers and asking them for permission to give this work back to the community. And they were thrilled. They never thought that the community would care to read their material because it was a bit too sophisticated, or it was of something that they care about, their thesis. And so it was like a huge wow to say, okay, so it's not that they are taking it away. They just never thought that the community would care. So this is for all researchers here. Please be mindful and offer the materials back to the community. Archives should be centralized and user-friendly for the community. In an ideal world, what would happen is that we would have only one service. We shouldn't be questing and doing this adventure of trying to find all over the place the material for one indigenous community. Archives, as Dr. Mandana from the University of London clearly stated back in January in the launch of the Indigenous Year, archives have been designed for academic use, and the end users should be also the communities. Reshaping the infrastructure is super costly, but this could be a worldwide effort to have this service unified. So this is something that we can discuss for a future common goal. The community should own their linguistic contributions. And I think that the feeling that that companies and researchers go and harvest their linguistic data is something that shouldn't happen. We have a moral and an ethical responsibility to leave them with the linguistic contributions. All the research and everything that is done with that data, of course, that should be proprietary information from the corporations, but at least the contributions from the community should remain in the community. So the other thing, this was something that I never imagined. Localizing Facebook was massive. What happened was that this community, I lived in this in my hometown, my hometown all my life, and I never even know that this community existed. Imagine the level of visibility that they have, it's zero. But they got Facebook localized, so all of a sudden, everybody wanted to hear about this story. And we got attention from the media across the country. We couldn't even believe it. And the community said, never ever our community was linked first to something positive. Usually it's about something sad or linked to poverty. But they were linked to something that was modern, that was cool, and that the non-indigenous community could relate to. And this was a strong message. We were united as one full community, celebrating the success of the indigenous community. And this was great, and I think this was a collective action of reconciliation and peace. Thank you. This is our work. And I want to leave you with, this is a sentence that Mario Fernandez, also they cannot have their names in QOM, it was forbidden. but this is his name also, Kishok. In the past, we had to keep quiet to survive. Today, we have to speak to not to become extinct. Thank you.